something that I just recently learned. So in Calltools 2.0, when you're actually speaking with somebody and for whatever reason they end up hanging up and you want to call them back later, I learned that if you put them into the callback disposition, it's actually going to take them out of the whole campaign and you're not going to be able to actually call them back. So the whole purpose of clicking the disposition to call back is to literally call them back, but the campaign sees it as you clicked on a disposition and it's going to remove them fully from your campaign, so they're not going to be getting a call back, they're just going to be removed. So I found out how to actually fix that, and it's actually pretty simple. So for the disposition, the do not call, like for instance, you get a number, right? You call a certain number, you upload a list and it has 3 numbers on that list for one contact. You reach out to that third number for that contact and it's actually a wrong number, right? So if it's a wrong number, you don't want to call that number ever again, but you want to call the other 2 numbers again, right? So what you got to do for that way it removes the third number, but it does continue to call the other numbers available for that contact. So you have to go over here to your manager dashboard. In your manager dashboard, you got to go into data, dispositions, call dispositions. In call dispositions, you just got to search for the do not call. So whenever you call someone and that number, the third number, second number, first number, whatever number is actually incorrect and it's not the person you're looking to speak with, you want to remove that number so you never call them again, and you'll still be calling the other 2 numbers that you have so you can actually get in touch with the actual property owner. So you go into your data, call dispositions, and you go to the do not call wrong number. You just edit that one, right? And then you're going to click this no contact made, which is just going to make sure that it never calls that number and only that number that you just spoke with, but it continues to call the other numbers. It will also delete that one number and only that number. Auto delete the associated phone number with the contact for anyone. Yeah, so it's just going to delete that one number and it's still going to continue to call the other numbers that you have for that contact. So just check the no contact made, check this one, and make sure you unselect this one. This one should be blank. That way the whole contact is not set as do not contact. That way it doesn't remove the entire contact with all the other numbers. It just deletes one contact number. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So you can do that, you save it, and boom, you're ready to go. Now for the other dispositions, like not available, too busy, not interested, call later, pitch made, or whatever, mainly what I've been doing is I've been clicking on the call back later, meaning that if I speak with them and they're like, right now it's not a good time, call me later, I'd actually put them in the call later, and I would think that it's actually the campaign is gonna call them later. What's actually been happening is it removes them from the campaign. It's been removing them and it hasn't actually been calling them back. So in order to fix that problem, you have to go to over here to your data, your sales funnel, and you're going to edit that sales funnel. So in your sales funnel, you want to make sure that it's calling everybody first. You want to make sure it's calling everybody that you haven't reached out to, everyone that you haven't spoken with, but it's just been calling and they're not picking up. So first you got to go in here, you got to add a rule. You make sure you do the outbound call, not live catch all. Okay, that's just going to make sure that it calls everybody one more time. It calls everybody again that hasn't answered the phone. Okay, so the first time you reach out to them, it's going to call after 15 minutes. Then you're going to copy that rule and you're going to do it again. Outbound call when it's the second time that you've actually attempted to call this person and they haven't picked up, it's going to do a trigger. It's going to call them after 15 minutes. Now again, the third time, just in case you reach out to them 3 times, it's going to keep calling them back. And that way you can actually get in touch with them. It's going to make sure that it keeps calling them back, because after, when the contacts go through the entire sales funnel, they actually become dead. So you have to recycle them, put them back in your campaign. So you have to make your sales funnel really long. That way the whole campaign can go through the entire sales funnel process and it'll actually be very lengthy. So I hope that makes sense. So first you do this one. What I like to do is I like to do that the people that I haven't spoken to, the people that I haven't been able to get in touch with, I like to do first 15 minutes. After that, you want to do 30 minutes. Remember that you have to do 1, 2, 3, because the first time, the one time that you call them and they didn't pick up, you're going to call them after 15 minutes. Now, the second time that you call them, you cannot make this number like 50, because if you make this number like 50, this trigger is only going to activate if you've called them and this is the 50th call. Okay, so that's not going to work. You have to do 1, 2, 3. On the second time, it's going to do this trigger where it's going to call them again in that campaign after a certain amount of time. So I'll do like 30 minutes, and then the third one is going to be 40 minutes. Okay. 40 minutes. And then I'm going to add another one just in case I'm still not able to get in touch with them. I'm going to add for the next day. So you can honestly copy what I'm doing the next day. That way, on the fourth call attempt, it's going to call them after 1 day. And then on the fifth call attempt, it's going to call them after 2 days. Okay. And just in case I'm still not able to reach with them, we're going to do the sixth call attempt. It's going to call them. We're going to do minutes again. You can honestly edit it as you want, but I'm just doing something that I think might work for me. After the second day, they still don't pick up. You're going to call them. Actually, yeah, I'm going to call them after every 30 minutes. Okay. And it's going to stop calling them once you put them in a disposition. Okay. Remember, and after this, we're going to show you how you can actually make sure that if you put them in the call back later or too busy or whatever other disposition, it's going to actually call them back if they want it to be called back. So this is only for the phone numbers that you didn't get in touch with. It's going to keep calling them. So the first attempt, it's going to call them after 15 minutes. Second attempt, call them after 30 minutes. Third attempt, call them after 40. Fourth, in a 1 day. Fifth, second day. Sixth, 30 minutes. Seventh, 30 minutes. I like to make this as long as possible. That way I make sure that I actually got to everyone. That it's going to call everybody that I haven't spoke with. Once you speak with them and you get them in a disposition, they'll be out of this and they won't receive any more of these calls. Okay, so up to 10th I think is a solid idea. Let's make this one after 1 hour. Okay, so maybe they were busy. Okay, now I think this is after another 1 hour. Okay, now here's the following things you should add. So you're gonna add a new rule, right? This is gonna make sure that everybody that you put in your call back is actually gonna get called back. So okay, so let's go to agent disposition, agent call disposition right here. I'm gonna click that. For the call, it's gonna be, let's do not available. So let's say that they were actually not available. You're gonna click that call and it's gonna actually call them again because they were not available. So you're gonna call them after, let's do 15 minutes, and then we're gonna increase per time. Now you call them again for the second time and they were not available. I don't like to make these so long. Let's just keep copying it, right? Now you call them a third time and you put them again in the call not available disposition. You're going to call them after another 30 minutes until you're actually able to reach them and get the no. Because once you put them in the not interested, they're going to be removed from the campaign. Or if they are interested, you'll put them in the yes and you'll take them out the campaign. Okay. I think that's honestly all we need for that. Now we're going to get onto a different disposition. Add a new rule. Agent call disposition. Now for the people that you put on the not. I don't think you can see it over here. Hold on, guys. Let me just put this up here. A call disposition, right? Alright, so if you put them in the so you put them in the too busy, like they were busy, you're gonna, the first time you put them there, the first call attempt, you're gonna call after 10 minutes. The second time you call them, it's gonna call them after 15 minutes. You get what I'm saying? But it's only going to keep calling them until you put them in the disposition of yes, they're interested, or not, they're not interested. This is in case they don't keep picking up and you keep putting them in the too busy, and you keep putting them there. Okay, so now we're going to do hours. 1 hour. That's just 4. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the next disposition. Agent call disposition. The call back later. Okay, this one is super interested. The call back later. So you put them on the call back later because they said they're busy right now, to call them later. So you're going to call them after 30, let's do 40 minutes, okay? You're going to copy that rule again because we're going to do another 40 minutes. You're going to copy that rule again, and we're going to do, you could do whatever you want, but I'm doing what I think was going to work. After 15 minutes, and then you're going to call them after 1 day. Actually, I think this should be 1 day. So 1 day, you're going to save that. No, 1 day. Sorry about that, guys. Then after that 1 day, it's going to be after 35 minutes. Okay, so now remember, if you put them in the call back and you attempted to call them one time and they didn't pick up, you're going to call them after 45 minutes. You put them again in the call back later and you attempted to talk to them 2 times and they still didn't reach out to you and they still didn't pick up, you're going to call them after 45 minutes. Call back, you reached them 3 times and they still didn't pick up, you're going to call them after 1 day, and so on and so on, okay? I like to make this one as long as possible. That way I can reach out to everyone as long as I can. Like if they don't keep picking up, I'm still going to keep trying. So we're going to do that up to 6. Because this is where I put people that don't pick up. I put them in the call back. So we're going to make sure that we actually reach out to them. Okay, so let's do 45 minutes. Another 45 minutes, right? Now I think that's pretty good. Because this is enough opportunity for you to actually reach out to someone. Now, this one's very important. I love to make this one as long as possible because this is where you're going to keep putting them if they don't keep picking up. 15, 30, 40, 1 day, 2 day, 3 minutes, 30, an hour. Okay, so that one is good. The not available, you're going to call them every 15, 30 minutes for 5 attempts. In the too busy, same thing. In the call back later, you're going to call them up to 7 times every hour to 45 minutes. Okay? I think I should make this another day. 1 day. Okay, so 1 hour, call them again. I'm going to do 1 day because the first time I put them there, I'm going to do 1 day. Perfect. This one we're going to do minutes, 30 minutes. 20 minutes. It could be really random. Okay. Now, add a new rule. We're going to add callback disposition. That, let's see which one other I do. What about this one? Do not call. What action is there? I think that's pretty much it. Because those are the only dispositions that I actually want to reach back out to. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, I think that's I'm gonna go back. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we really need. This sales funnel is going to make sure that it actually goes through everyone and all the dispositions that you actually want to call back. It's going to call them back. And it's actually really long that it's lengthy. You want this to be long. You want this to make sure, because when the campaign leads go through this entire sales funnel, you'll have to recycle them again. Okay, and you want to make sure that they've gone through the entire cycle and that you've actually been able to get in touch with them. Okay, and I think that's really all we need, because the only dispositions that you need is they're not interested, that's a no, or call them later, they said maybe or whatever, they were just busy, you can't call them, or they said, yeah, I'm interested. And if they are interested, obviously you're going to take them off this campaign, you're going to put them in your CRM. So I think these are all the only ones you need. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's all you need. So that, you're going to go back into your sales funnel and it should be ready. It should be done. Yeah, it should honestly be ready. What just happened? Okay, I see. Okay, all right. Yep, so I think this is, oh, I see I made a mistake. Let's just erase that one. 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, so it's just going to keep calling them back until you've actually reached out to them. Now, like I said before, for the dispositions, call dispositions, for example, the do not call wrong number, you're going to edit that one. That way it only removes the number that's incorrect and it keeps calling everyone else. Okay, so with that being said, I hope this video helped you guys out, and I hope that it explained you need to make your sales funnel as long as possible. That way all your leads will go through it and you'll be at least able to reach them once and get a response out of them. And the do not call is going to make sure that it only do not calls that one number that's incorrect, and it still calls the following numbers that are associated with that contact. So I hope I made that clear, and thanks for watching.